Bon Viver by Naughton and Wilson, because life is meant to be enjoyed.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today it's going to be one of my quickie impromptu, more or less unedited videos where I usually do an unboxing, and that will be very much the case today. Before we do that, we're just going to briefly mention the other big thing going on in my life at the moment, and that is Bon Viver, the release of the second Naughton and Wilson fragrance. Thank you so much to everybody who has bought it so far. It's available as I make this video on pre-order for just over another week now. It runs till Monday the 17th of May 2021. Amazing response so far, and we're absolutely thrilled with that. Be careful, guys, if you are thinking of waiting till the last minute. It may be that we actually sell out of the first batch that we've produced before the end of the pre-order campaign, after which there may even be a small gap then before the second batch gets made, and the prices will go up to the normal level. There's super special offers going on, and it's just an incredible citrus aromatic fragrance from perfumer John Stephen. If you loved Gravitas Pour Homme, this is more of a fresh citrus fragrance rather than aromatic fougere. But if you loved that one, I feel very strongly that it's highly likely that you're going to be really happy with this. I will just quickly tell you the note listing now. The top notes are lime, lemon, orange, mandarin, bay, basil and lemongrass. In the mid we have British gin, clove, pepper and watermelon. And the base notes are cedar, patchouli, oak moss and Haitian vetiver. That's Bon Viver. Enough on that subject. The link rather is in the description to buy it, where you can buy it exclusively at nortonandwilson.com at the moment. Okay, so let's talk about other stuff. Now I'm going to do an unboxing, and I'll also just throw in something a little bit different for you guys. I wanted to maybe try throwing in a few other things. I think with YouTube you don't want to diversify too much where your channel doesn't have a focus, so I will always be a fragrance channel and a fragrance review, but I do have a little bit of an interest in a few other things. So I'm going to talk briefly about a nice watch that I've got on the screen there, and I'm also going to talk about my beer of the night, because as I film this, it's Saturday evening, and when I do mention beers and watches in videos, I notice quite a lot of people seem to quite like that. So mostly men watching, and a lot of us have those kind of interests in a bit of boozing or some other kind of boys' toys or gadgets, like a nice watch and that kind of thing. Let's get into the unboxing though. As the title of the video has told you there, it's a 90s classic actually. And the box is quite big, so let's put it in. Let's put it there. And it's from a house that really has a history that I don't know much about, or at least didn't until I started to make a few notes for this video. So what I do often with these unboxings is I give you a little bit of a history of the fragrance house or the fashion house that is behind the fragrance. So I'll try and do that now. So this house was founded back in, well, the first thing they came out with apparently was back in 1985, and that was intimate wear for men and for women, soon diversifying into swimwear. The brand was actually founded by a Greek designer working in France, and the name will probably tell you the brand maybe, and his name, Nikos Apostolopoulos. Nikos Apostolopoulos. That's hard for me to say, but I think I got it about right. And he was a designer, of course, I think born in Greece, but trained in France. And he went on to produce under the name of this brand some stuff for theatre, opera kind of stuff, costumes and that kind of thing. But was mainly known, I think, for his the underwear and maybe swimwear type stuff. I saw a very interesting article on something, I think it was called the Encyclopedia of Fashion or something online, where somebody was saying that there's a very homoerotic theme with a lot of the designs that he came out with back in the 80s and beyond. And I went on their website to look at what they've got up there, and it had a lot of stuff about this fragrance, but also the man advertising it effectively was very scantily clad, just wearing underwear, and it did have a bit of a homoerotic vibe. So that seems to be a little bit of a theme with the brand, although it's much less obvious when you just look at this fragrance. So really interesting stuff. So there was a female version of this fragrance first released in 1994. I'm not sure if that's still made. I think there have been some flankers to this one, but I'm not sure. This is the famous one anyway. It's a real cheapie. It cost me just £15 on Amazon. And that's an incredible price. I think it's a 100ml bottle. Let's open her up, guys. Here we go. Hey. If it's the weekend where you are, let me know what you're up to this weekend. Okay, so very simple kind of Amazon box there, no frills. And wow, here we go. The fragrance in question then is this one, Sculpture Pour Homme from Nikos. Nikos Sculpture Om. Okay, now I might have to adjust this camera angle, hadn't I, here, because we want to get the whole thing in shot. That's better, isn't it? Okay, let's open up. I've had this, well, Claire from the Smurfy Girly channel used to own this. I quite enjoyed using this one. So now, it's been a long time since I smelled it. I love the box design. It's blue with a kind of white marbled effect. And it is very much, from what I remember, a sort of a fresh fragrance, but it's sort of fresh and sweet at once. Let's open her up and we'll talk about it a little bit more. So, nothing fancy in this, it's not expensive feeling, but I do like that box design. I think it's really, really good. I think this fragrance has been maybe the biggest success this company's ever had. It's been going for years and years, since 1995. Let's open the actual bottle, get the bottle out, and then I'll tell you the note listing. Really interesting design for the bottle on this one, which I think I like it because it's unique, and so many things nowadays are not. And that really is rather special, I think. I really like the Nikos Sculpture on bottle. So very much a kind of Greek, legendary, mythical Greek creature. If anyone knows what that creature's called, feel free to let me know. Is it... Now, I'm not going to guess. I shall make a fool of myself. It's some kind of creature. I don't think there was ever a large... dangerous cat with wings in reality, so I believe it's a mythical creature, and it's got very much a bottle that I think reminds us of a sail, on a sailing, either on a boat or, well, it looks like a sail, let's just put it like that. And I really like that. It's a bit of a devil to, you can easily knock it over, but a rather nice ornament and objet d'art. The note listing for Sculpture Pour Homme then, 1995 release. Perfumer, by the way, Michel Almarac, who also did the legendary Gucci Pour Homme in 2002, I think. And numerous other quite good things too, Rochas Louis, so great perfumer. Your note listing is orange blossom, lemon, mandarin, jasmine, lily of the valley, geranium rose, tonka bean, benzoin, amber and cedarwood. So let's give it a spray and see how it matches up to my memory, as I took it actually on holiday to Crete once, and it was a perfect choice with the Greek theme. Yeah, and a really nice cheapie. Let's smell it. 1, 2, 3. Squirt, squirt, squirt. It's a hat trick. Okay, not getting anything yet in the air. Which way? Okay. Okay. Oh yes, it's so, you immediately remember it. It's got a real nostalgic vibe for me, although I was 18 in 1995 when it came out. No recollection of it existing back then. But it reminds me of going on this holiday in 2017 to Crete. Yeah, it's definitely got a fresh, slightly aquatic aura. There's a sort of ozonic, I think, as an ozonic element to the fragrance. It's definitely fresh, but it's got a definite 90s vibe. It's something about it actually reminds me strangely of Versace's The Dreamer, which is famous for having a tobacco note, but it doesn't smell... It doesn't really smell of tobacco, but I think there's something in common with things like Versace's The Dreamer, and I always think that Dolce & Gabbana's Pour Homme from 1994 also had this shared accord with Versace The Dreamer, which is a sort of powdery, dreamy kind of accord that maybe has something to do with a synthetic tobacco accord. And I get that in this too. It also reminds me a little bit of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Mal, which came out in the same year. So it's got this kind of powdery, almost barbershop type feel, a kind of a synthetic vibe, and a tonka bean synthetic sweetness in the base that is entirely pleasant and likeable. A bit of a sort of dryer sheet thing or something like that. But it's really just, it's pleasant. It's a great perfect balance of fresh, a little bit citrusy, but not, it doesn't smell, obviously photorealistic lemon or neroli or anything, but a kind of a synthetic citrus, very pleasant, powdery accords, and this kind of almost fluffy, dreamy air about it, just a bit like The Dreamer in that, but it really would be actually a great choice for a summer holiday, different, refreshing in a different kind of way, perfect for, put on a white shirt after a hot day, baking in the sun with a tan developing nicely. I think you'd be really happy to actually have that one. And, if you wanted to bung something in a suitcase on holiday and you don't want to risk breaking a Creed bottle or something, why not create a great scent memory with Sculpture Homme, or whatever you call it, just Sculpture Homme from Nikos for 15 quid. Can't go wrong. I think you can get it worldwide, guys. Let me know if you've tried that one, what you think of it. Shall we have the box on the screen too? Yes, I think we should, because it's rather a nice box. So as I film this, it's Saturday night. We've come out of lockdown now, but the pubs, you can only go and be outside, and the weather's actually been not that nice here, and I don't know anyone in my new town of Rochester at the moment, so I still stay in like a hermit. So I'm about to get smashed at home on my own, and the first stage in doing that will undoubtedly be the fantastic Duvel beer. So let's talk about one of my favourite beers, and I'm trying to pick beers, if I do mention some in forthcoming videos here and there, that we can mostly get without too much hassle around the world, and I'm pretty sure that's the case with Duvel. Made in Belgium, easily available in many, if not most, UK supermarkets for only £2 for 330ml bottle. Sound like a fragrance review again. And it's 8.5%, so it's a real whopper. And I first discovered this when I was in my early 20s, and I'd never really heard of it, and I saw it in the supermarket, and I just thought, wow, 8.5%, that's strong. I wonder what it tastes like. I didn't really know anything about, but I'd heard of Belgian beer, but I didn't know anything about it, and it really is an amazingly gorgeous, lovely, strong Belgian blonde ale. It has a very effervescent kind of vibe about it. It's very, very fizzy, basically, and when you pour it, which I'll put a picture on the screen actually, there's a fantastic foaming head that you get, which is a good sign of a high quality beer, and almost half the glass will be that foaming head if you pour it the way that they like you to. And it's almost got like a three-dimensional head. There's like mountain ravines up and down, because that head is so, it doesn't fade away very easily or very quickly. It's really high quality stuff, very yeasty, and there's a certain type of Belgian yeast that goes into this. There are some almost kind of bizarre banana-like fruity notes in there. There is quite a bit of hop bitterness in it actually, although it's not any way hoppy like an IPA, and just it's very, very satisfying, bit like a lager, kind of refreshing at the same time. And you can drink it at different temperatures. Quite cold is great, but it's dangerously easy to drink because it's so refreshing, and it's lethally strong. So I may kick off with that, and then maybe move on to more tame beers. My other little thing lately then is the watches that I'm really enjoying. I did get my first Rolex recently, but there's still so many great cheap ones. I basically nowadays gravitate towards vintage watches. It has to be an old watch for me to get excited now. And this one, I think it might be from the 60s or 70s, but I don't actually know, and I'm trying to find out. But it's called, the brand is called Mido. Or some people say Mido, but I'm going with Mido. It's very much clearly influenced by a Rolex Datejust, in that it has this beautiful fluted bezel design, which I really like, and the iconic cyclops there over the date, which I think Rolex first came up with, and a beautiful champagne coloured dial. And I like the two-tone effect here with the gold bezel, in great condition for an old watch. I ordered it from Thailand. It cost me just £180, so it's very much an old discontinued watch. I think the brand's still going. And it doesn't have a two-tone bracelet, but I think it actually really works well. It's a fantastic high-quality presidential style bracelet. That's a certain style of bracelet, the ones that look like that. And it really is great quality, the bracelet, worth the entry ticket alone. That a Mido bracelet. And you can just tell that it's like really solid, not folded clasps under there. A hand winding and automatic, so an automatic watch that you can also hand wind, which is better, and I love winding watches. And just a beautiful dial there. If we try and get the detail on that dial, there's so much going on there with the little track around the edge, and there's very small Roman numerals there on the dial. Just those beautiful details I really love, and a really unique watch. I think it's 37 mils across, so a tiny bit bigger than the Rolex, which it pays homage to, and just a perfect size for me for a lovely vintage watch. So guys, let me know what you thought about that in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out the fantastic Viver, and do not miss out, because I predict that we will sell out. There's a certain number in the USA which they particularly, I think, may well be gone before the end of the pre-order campaign, so don't miss out. Comments down below, and follow the link in the description, or just Google nortonandwilson.com to get your bottle. Thanks ever so much for watching. Remember guys, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Bye bye.
Bon Viver by Norton and Wilson, because life is meant to be enjoyed.